months, I have been working on the independent rear suspension.
All right, here's the plan. And of course, it's just starting before I even get anything out. But I do know that the rear right here will line up onto the frame. These are actually from my Super Duty 2011. These are the mounting bolts for the body, and fits perfectly. So this is awesome. This is pretty much a big game changer because I want to keep this nice, simple, and in a way that a lot of you guys can actually do this too.
And I had a goal of getting this installed with minimal kind of welding to the body itself. I wanted it to be a bolt-in kind of situation. It took me a while to sort of formulate a couple good ideas. What I'm going to do is just give you a little tour on what's going on. And the install when it comes to that part too. Is I use the tubular from the original design and welded it to the cradle itself. I also use these upper brackets right there. Instead of the cradle just having 4 points of contact, now it has 6. Those are pretty much the two things I did. I did lower this bracket right there, that beam, but getting these measurements was definitely tough. What I would suggest when I do this again is have these actual adjustable turnbuckles for alignment purposes. All right, with the bracket that I built, starting with this plate right here, built that using where the original shock absorber was, or dampener, and then did a 1x2 tubing to go all the way forward. I needed the plate for the spring perch right there. This tube right here, come up here, is going right into where the shock originally was. So now I have support here and there, but I want it more. So I put these plates on so it's connected right here onto the frame. So I had to drill a couple holes, that's easy. And then on our Mustangs, we have another hole right there. So I had to get a nut inside and weld the nut into the frame, right? And I did the same thing for this side too. So this bolt right here is actually going to go through the cradle. And I'll show you really quick. On the factory, we have an access to get into there. A hole that I drilled right here. I was able to get a couple plugs, get them at the store, but plug everything up. I just want everything to look nice and neat, right? That pretty much sums up for the brackets, making sure everything is good and straight and solid. And as far as the frame itself, the only thing I had to do under here is you can see where the spare tire was. I just mended that up and then for the shock itself, that's the only other thing I had to weld to the car is making plates right here. So I found out these are about 60 degree because the way that the original shocks are. And the last little thing that I did here, probably not necessary, but I installed this right here. This is a body mount for 2011 Super Duty. So I figured if it's good enough for Super Duty, it'd be fine for this. So just and here we are on the back side so you can see. everything. All right, so here we're sitting right now, and this is before a body swap. Overall, I'm very pleased the way this worked out. I'm very confident in the whole thing. I mean, it was a lot of work, definitely a lot of work for something I've never done before with suspension work like this, and just sort of making it up as I go. So the fun doesn't start until I get the Maverick body here. I'm finishing up on the install. I'm going to go through and show you the whole underside and everything that I sort of, and what I can notice. Starting with the placement. So I could tell, let me just back up a second. I'm just a dude in a garage with limited tools. I can get the job done, and I'm working as hard as I can to make it perfect, but I can tell. And when I was using my plumb, everything, I'm about 5 millimeters or 1/4 inch set back. And that's why it's so important on this. When I do another build, I'm going to be getting turnbuckles. That way I can make all my measurements and adjust everything. So it's so much easier. And trust me, I measured this thing probably 100 times before I even thought about putting a welder up to it and getting the bars in. I mean, I was so close. I mean, so close. But you know what? For me, it's okay. I'm doing a body swap and I'm putting a Maverick right on top of this. So no matter what, I'm doing flares on there, and I could disguise any discrepancies from forward to back. But I still see it, and it bothers me a little bit. Besides that, the ride height is where I wanted it. So I had measured from the center of the hub to the bottom of the lip right here. And originally it was at 16 inches. Right now it's sitting about 15.5 inches, which is good because I want it to have a lowered vehicle anyways. And then one of the most crucial parts, and this is sort of where I think I messed up on my alignment, is I had to get the pinion up and level, and I'll get underneath and show you all that. One thing that I was really hoping on the driveline, I was hoping that I could find a flange that can adapt to this kind of driveline, because let me tell you, this is so close with, there we go. But obviously that flange extends out a lot further than the original design. If that was just a easy swap, this would be awesome. I wouldn't have to get a new driveline, but it is what it is. Now moving to the back side. You can see where I had to cut off the bracket for the sway bar in order to have the gas tank fit, and that's on both sides. I'm still working on the sway bar location, and I've got a couple good ideas of it coming up, but I can't do anything until I get the gas tank back in. I always have to make sure before I start building into anything. So the sway bar will be right underneath. So it's going to be tucked in right underneath the gas tank. There's the back side of the a bracket with the mounting. I have probably 3 or 4 things I got to finish up before I can call it a day. One of the first ones is going to be what we already covered on the drive line. And then the second one is going to be the sway bar. So those two I've sort of already talked about. But the next one, it's going to be the brake lines. They do have different pitch. The threads are going to be different. Also, on the passenger side, we have a split right here. Now, I'm going to do some research and see if I can find a company, maybe local, basically taking this swedge or that pinch off and install this component onto this brake line. But if I also want to make it easier in the future to ever, let's say, replace just the line itself, I could also build an adapter that just screws right in. So I want to keep options open. It would be a lot cleaner if I could switch these over, but it's going to be a lot harder if I ever have to replace that component. And then the last one that's on my mind is the ABS. I still want it hooked up. I know it's a 2-prong here. I haven't done the research on the original. Should be just a 2-prong. I mean, it's just a magnetic pickup. So I got to find out which direction voltage goes, and then I can just splice it in, get a pigtail, splice it in, and keep it nice, neat, and clean. So after the brakes, one of the next things is going to be the e-brake. So I need to get that cable hooked up. I still have the original. Plus, I also have the cables for the S550. So I'll find out what's compatible, what's not, or if it has to be a custom build. And hopefully I can make it easy. And lastly, it's going to be the fuel line. Now, originally, the fuel line came over and it was riveted up onto the frame rail, but obviously this is in the way. So I've got a couple of different ideas forming right now in the way. I could either route it on the outside, or if I can, maybe drill a hole through this plate and up through on the back side and route it right through here. I'll have to see what the clearance looks like at that part. So there's still a lot to do, but the majority, the hard stuff right there is done. Now it's just the little stuff, and hopefully I can knock that out easily. Well, I hope that you liked the video. I was trying to keep it really informative and help out anybody. I'm really excited. I really am. I mean, I don't think that many people have done something like this. And at the end of the day, yes, it was tough, but it wasn't that hard. I had to know what to do first. Now that I know what to do, I'm sure I can knock out another one a lot sooner. It took a long time to sort of get the ideas, how I'm going to connect it, am I going to destroy the car, which I don't want to do. Because I still have the ability to just go back to stock. And that's not what I want. I want something different. Obviously, I'm doing something beyond this. So, well, I hope you like it. And I'm going to be doing more updates, especially once I get the Maverick over here and start building that up to get it on top of here, which I don't know how I'm going to get it up and over. Even the last time I didn't even have a shop. I did it all by myself, but I was sort of outside doing it. We'll see what happens. Anyways, thank you, and leave your comments down below. Even if it's good or bad, it doesn't bother me. Everything that somebody brings up, critical, it's actually just informative. So I'm going to take that information and then fix it for the next time. Well, thank you again, and stay tuned.